All right, let's get this party started. Cool, how you all doing? Please type 0 in the chat if my audio is not intelligible. If I don't get any complaints, I'll assume that everything is hunky-dory. So let's just try getting something done. All right, thanks everyone for joining. Bit of a new thing we're going to try here today. We're going to try live streaming some Narwhals development and try to transpile the Polars API to Dask. There's been some requests for this. We've got lots of really talented and really motivated community contributors in the Narwhals community. So I thought, well, if I just try to get the basics of Dask support set up, then maybe we can crowdsource the rest of the effort with all of our amazing community. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to start by navigating to the local folder where I've got the project. I'm going to do all of this in Luna Vim, not because I'm particularly good at Vim, but because it's a lot less energy intensive than VS Code, and I think if I'm trying to stream at the same time, then my laptop's going to overheat if I use both. Right, let's see if we can make this a bit bigger. The local folder I've got is called Polars API Compat. That was the original name for the project. I eventually switched it to Narwhals, which was probably a good idea because it's a lot catchier. And judging by what people are writing here in the chat, it was a good decision. Hey, underwater unicorns. UV pip install UWU. Yeah. Right, let's try to get something done. Now, I'd set up a little branch earlier. Lazy Dask. And I've not really made much progress on this yet, but that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to walk you through the process, show you how bad I am at Vim. Happy to take any assorted questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring it throughout. So yeah, let's do this. lvim dot. Gonna try to take a short break every half an hour or so. Now, the way Narwhals is organized is we've got different subfolders for each backend. So underscore arrow, this is the subfolder for where we've got the PyArrow table implementation. This is the new one, underscore Dask. Interchange, that's just for libraries which only implement the data frame interchange protocol, so we offer very basic support to those. Pandas-like, for anything that follows the Pandas API. And then underscore Polars, which is for Polars itself. This is easily the simplest one, because Polars by definition implements a subset of the Polars API. The only thing we need to do in this one sometimes is some checks on the Polars version. So, for example, we have a nice example of that here in data frame parse. No, namespace. Oh, backend version, that's what I'm supposed to be looking for. So, for example, len, in Polars, this changed from count to len at some point, so we need to do a version check on the version of Polars here. But the rest of it is really just dispatched to the underlying Polars implementation, and don't do anything fancy on top of that. For non-Polars libraries, it's significantly more involved. So let's see quite how involved it becomes for Dask. Let's see how far we can take it. And let's see how far, in particular, how far we can take it in just 1 2-hour session. What I'm hoping to achieve is, let's make a little Dask data frame. So df dd, so dd.from pandas ed.dataframe A123 B456. Is this right? Yeah, I'm not an expert in Dask, but I think this is fine. So then if we make df is nw dot, use the narwhalify. So then if we make a function nw dot narwhalify def func df, and we return df dot with columns nw dot call a plus 1 dot alias c, and we should be able to run func on dfdd. Can we get this done by the end of the session? That's what we're aiming for. So let's just start by running this just to see how gracefully it fails. Is the font large enough, by the way? If anyone wants the font making any larger, I can do that. Right, so Dask namespace doesn't have any attribute call. That's the first thing we're going to do. So what does call do? Call, it just creates an expression. And by expression, in Narwhals, we mean, where am I going? We mean a function from a data frame to a sequence of series. So we're going to go here to namespace, and we're going to try to create that. Def call. Let's see what we've already done for the pandas-like one, and let's see how much we can reuse. I don't want to put Dask inside pandas-like because it's going to be quite different. Dask is going to be lazy only. The only thing that won't be lazy will be collect, and for that one we'll just compute into a pandas data frame, and then we'll reuse the pandas stuff. But we can't do any of the reuse series implementation and all of that here. Right, font is good. Cool. Thanks, Bruno. Thanks, Dea, for your live feedback. Let's see how we did def call here. Maybe let's split this to the right. So vsplit, I think it is. Yeah, my lack of Vim skills are really going to become apparent in this stream, but it's what we got to do. And then here, I wanted to open not pandas namespace, Dask namespace. Yeah, so here to the right, we've got the Dask one, and here to the left, we've also got the Dask one. Yeah, that's not quite what I was hoping for. The left, I wanted the pandas one. The big window A, B. Ah, right, nice. A. All right, nice, got it. Gonna get good at Vim one day. I'm a real programmer. So, def. It wasn't even this one. It's Expra that I wanted. Sorry, not even that one. Namespace. I can do this. Def call. Right. So this is going to take self, and then some column names by position. Sorry. Yeah, these are going to be positional arguments. And we're going to return a Dask Expra. So I think we can pretty much just reuse the implementation from there for this one. So we don't need to keep track of the implementation. This one is just going to be Dask, but the rest should be the same. And instead of pandas like Expra, we're going to use Dask Expra. Now the first thing that's probably going to happen here is we're going to get an error because we don't have from column names defined. So that's the first thing we should probably do. Right. Now, why isn't the LSP reloading? Probably because I should just use VS Code, which I'm a bit more comfortable. Ah, here we are. Okay. Well, let's do this through example-driven development, and let's wait for it to fail. Dask namespace has no attribute call. We just wrote call. You're joking. Oh, def translate dtype. Why are we doing this in dtypes? Sorry. Let's take this out. Let's go to the proper file that I wanted, which was Narwhals Dask namespace. And then here at the bottom, oh right, here we are. And we're gonna have to import Dask extra underscore dask dot extra import Dask extra, which isn't even defined. All right. One step at a time. We don't even have a Dask extra file. So baby steps. Let's make that one. Narwhals Dask extra.py. Awesome stuff. Then if we go in there, yeah, we don't have anything yet. Let's make a class Dask extra. So to initialize it, we're going to take a callable, so some function, and we're going to take the backend version, just in case we need to do some checks on the Dask version, like if they've got some breaking changes between versions. All right, so self.call is call, self.backend version is going to be backend version. Then we're going to need to make how do we initialize this? I think, yeah, there's a class method from column names. Let's start by just copying this from the pandas like one. And let's see how far it takes us. From column names, type self. Okay, let's just put a from future import annotations to silence the linter for a second. Then we don't need implementation. df isn't going to be a pandas-like data frame now. It's going to be a Dask data frame, and it's going to return a list of Dask series, which we'll worry about in a second. And then we're going to return here a Dask series. We can get rid of implementation. And I think that the API for selecting a column in Dask is the same as it is in pandas. So we can probably keep this exactly as it is. Get rid of implementation. Okay, cool stuff. We do need to import Dask series, though, which we might still need to define. Except, okay, we're running into a slight issue here already. Magda. Oh, so that's what the annotations are for. So, yeah, the from future annotations, this delays the evaluation of the annotations at runtime. So you can still execute the code without having valid annotations. Okay, how are we going to do this? Because we are going to have a Dask series, we're just not going to expose it to the user. Yeah, thinking wide on a live stream isn't the easiest thing, but hey, we've set ourselves up to a challenge, so let's do it. Let's start with just the... Is it right to call it the obvious solution? Well, the obvious solution in the sense that we're just going to reuse what we did for pandas. Let's see, Dask series. I'm going to try to define this Dask series, which is just going to be backed by a literal Dask series, and see what happens. Okay, Magdalena asks, why not expose a series to the user? The answer is that we're making... So for Dask, the data frame is always lazy. when you compute a Dask data frame, what you get out is a pandas data frame. So Dask support in Narwhals would only be lazy, and a series in the Narwhals API is an eager object. So what we would do for Dask is we would have the support be fully lazy, and the idea would be if you want to interact with a Dask data frame, you need to use expressions. So users would use expressions rather than series. Bruno, is data frame correct? No, thanks for that. Dask data frame. Thanks. Yeah, let's use that instead. Cool. Dask series. Right. Let's see what happens. First, just curious to see how, at what stage the code's going to fail. Right, we don't have Narwhals Dask series yet, so let's make this file. Now, if it runs, I presume it'll say we don't have a Dask series object. Right, time to implement it. So, Narwhals Dask series. And here I think we can again just reuse what we did for pandas. So, Narwhals pandas-like series. Class. Yeah, nothing too fancy here. Oops. So instead of pandas-like series, we're going to make this a Dask series. We're going to have a native series, sure. Let's get rid of implementation. All right. Now if we run it, any is not defined. Okay, let's get back to ignoring annotations. For now, go from future, import annotations. See what happens. Dask Expra got an unexpected keyword argument, depth. All right. Oh, right. So, yeah, we don't just need backend version. So we're also going to need depth. Yeah, we've got a few things we need. So let's already fold the definition. The other things we need are, what was it? Let's just paste these here, depth as well. Then depth is going to be depth, function name, root names. There was like a really hacky Python package which did all of this for you, but I don't trust it, and we're supposed to be dependency free. So if this means a bit of copy and pasting, then so be it. We then need to copy these here as well. So we've got the call, then we need depth, function name, root names, output names, and backend version. And oh, Dask Extra has no attribute add. Oh, okay, we're getting closer. Because if we look at the code we were trying to run, then one thing we're doing here is we're taking column A and we're adding 1 to it. So we're doing an actual operation on the expression. Right, so now it's time to think about how to define that operation. Let's see if we can do this. So Narwhals Dask Extra. We need to define a add method, self other. And how are we going to do this? So this one contains a call which, given a data frame, returns a list which contains a single series, which is the input series. kind of want to just insert a breakpoint and see what happens. So let's go one level up. So now we're here inside Narwhals Expra. Narwhals data frame. So let's see what we got here. So self is a Narwhals lazy frame, which is backed by this Dask lazy frame, which is backed by which should be backed by, maybe it's lazy. Yeah, which is backed by an actual Dask data frame structure. Now, what else do we have? This is a Narwhals expression. And call can take. Do we have a Narwhals namespace? Narwhals namespace. Oh, right, we've already got that. Okay, cool, nice. So if we pass Narwhals namespace to this one, none type has no attribute alias. Oh, right, sure. I think I'm trying to do something too complicated. So let's try something simpler. Let's remove the +1 for now. We're just going to take a column A, and we're going to rename it to B. Truly groundbreaking stuff here. But we got to walk before we run. And let's try adding an alias method to Expra. So def alias self name. And so now the function, so given a data frame, we're going to first say like result is going to be self.call df. This is going to give us a list of data frames. And then for, maybe let's call this results. Result in results. Except these aren't really results, these are just the inputs here. So let's call them inputs. Then for, I think input might be a reserved keyword. No? Okay, we can use it. Great. So for input in inputs, then let's make results. This is going to be an empty list. For input in inputs, we're going to say result is going to be input.rename name. So if we're doing an alias, I mean, alias only really makes sense if you've got an expression which returns a single column, right? But now let's just insert and let's just put a break or something like assert len inputs equals 1. We'll raise a good error message later. Okay, so we've got our result, and now we can just return result. And from here, we can return func. Why is this red? Is probably unbound. Oh, that's because I called it results. Makes sense. Now, if we run this, Dask data frame has no attribute with columns. True. So does Dask have does Dask have with Dask has assign, I think. Okay, so in the chat, Bruno says you can use input, but if I remember correctly, it allows the built-in. Yeah, probably. So let's put an underscore in front of it. So LR, put an underscore. All right. Proud of myself, getting a little bit better at new vim. It's a little bit better. And I should probably do something with this result. So results.append. Result. I do like how colorful it all looks. Right, so next step, we're going to go to the Dask data frame and try to make a with columns method. But first, half an hour has passed. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Right. Hello, everybody. Let's get back to this and see how far we can get. Right. So we've got the alias. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to make a with columns kind of function in Dask. Also, let's see if we can make the window a bit bigger. Thanks, Bruno, for pointing it out. Let's see. This is probably about as maxed out as we can get. Nice, that's actually better. Sometimes if it's hard to think about a problem, just make the font bigger. Oh, Magda says play more in the chat. Sure thing. Any requests? One. On what? Okay, yeah. Well, if any requests come through, we can take them. But in the meantime, we're gonna be programming. So we need to get to Dask data frame and make some with columns kind of thing. Rush E. What's Rush E? I don't know what Rush E is, sorry. One to the window size, it's good. Cool, thanks. But we can probably test this out already without having with columns. Oh wait, we've got a comment, Thomas. It was really nice seeing you use the breakpoint functionality. Inspired me to read more up about it. Ah, cool, thanks, yeah. I've been meaning to learn how to use debuggers properly, but I've been getting on far enough with breakpoint that I've not bothered with it yet. Anyway, lots more breakpoint to come. Let's go to Dask data frame and try to make with columns. So first in here, we're going to open Narwhals, pandas-like data frame. In here, we're going to open with columns. And then here, let's open the Dask one. Narwhals, Dask, data frame. Call does definitely not belong in here. So Bruno, same thing, that debugging was wild. I only know how to print stuff. Debugging, yeah, breakpoint, you can use U and D to navigate through stacks. Yeah, it's really useful. Really recommend it. I think Anthony Sottile had a video on YouTube about how to do it. So, yeah. Search for Anthony Writes Code for a YouTube channel that teaches lots of these things. See, continue, next, print things, yeah. Pretty much all you need. Right, with columns, let's try to make something like this, but for Dask. Def with columns. Self extra. We'll worry about named expressions later. Sorry, we'll worry about, which ones are we worrying about? Yeah, named expressions, we'll worry about those later. So we first need to evaluate the expression, and we're going to do that. Well, we've been talking about breakpoints, so in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's insert a breakpoint, and let's see if we can actually hit it, and what we can do. All right, the other little breakpoint tip is L space dot. That shows you the lines of code that are next to where you are, and LL shows you even more lines. Right. Anything I've missed? Don't think so. with columns. So extra 0, then this one should have a call method. Oh, no? Oh, this one, it's self. Oh, this is wild. What's going on? Function dask expra.alias locals func. What's going on? This is wild. I think the expra isn't looking quite the way I thought it would. Alias. So this one just needs to be a func. Ah, got it. So we need a def. We need a, yeah, thank you, Francesco. Yeah, alias should return a dask expra. Yeah. So we need a from, I don't know, from call or something. We'll worry about good names later. Call. So, and then we can probably just reuse most of this. So here we're going to use self class. Wait, why am I putting this here in add? Because I haven't thought it through properly. Let's remove add for now. And I need self. So self class, instead of func, we're going to put call. Depth is going to be self depth plus 1. Then the function name is going to be, we're going to take self.function name, and we're going to append the current function name, which is, how do we do this in the pandas one? For now, let's just write something, figure it out later. And we're not going to worry about root names and output names for now, but the backend version is going to stay the same. Something's red here. Plus, oh, it's because we've not put the type annotations, but we can worry about those later. Right, now, so now in alias, we can probably call that one. So self dot from call func. And now we can only concatenate tuple, not int, but tuple. Bias depth tuple. Ah, we've got some trailing commas which we didn't need. Let's try that again. Ooh, okay, we've reached the breakpoint. And expra 0 is indeed a dask expra, so it's got a call method. And if we pass in, what are we passing in? What's self even? Self, it's a compliant frame, okay. So if we pass in self, oh, okay. This is what I thought would happen. But the Dask series object has no attribute rename. What? How do you rename a Dask series? Somebody help me. Okay. Dask series. How do I rename this thing? Oh, wait. It's Dask series that's got no attribute rename, not Dask itself. Okay, this is slightly encouraging, but let's just check that still. Native data frame. And then if we take out A, does it have a name? Yes. Does it have rename? Oh yeah, we can rename. Okay, cool, we can do this. So Magda asks, what's self even? Very good question, philosophically, yes. Who am I? What am I? I don't know. Francesco can probably tell us a bit more about philosophy. It's just a feeling I've got. Not sure why. where were we? We need to go to Dask series, yes. But here is not the file I wanted to be in. Whoops. Why though, lol? I don't know. I mean, well, maybe you tell us. Do you know a fair bit about philosophy? So Narwhals, Dask series. Well, the other reason is that you're Italian, and in Italian schools, people study philosophy for quite a bit, regardless of which specialization they choose. Like, even if you go to like a scientific or linguistic school, I think you're typically expected to take philosophy. I think. Right. Def rename. Self name. And yeah, we're just gonna return self.class. Okay, we're gonna need another self from native here, aren't we? It was really not my cup of tea in high school. Sorry about that then. That was just wrong intuition on mine. So def from native series. And we're going to return self.class series, and then we're going to preserve. What are we preserving? Backend version. Anyway, Magda wrote play more earlier, still hoping to get further requests. But in the meantime, we're just going to return native series, and it's going to be self.native series.rename name. We should also have a name property. Name. Return self.native series.name. This is going to be a property. We'll probably need to inspect this soonish. Okay, let's keep going. Right, so now if we take extras 0._call and we pass self, hey! We got something out of it. No request in particular. Play your favorite track. Well, it feels like I'm clowning around here, so. Whoops. So let's keep clowning around. Where were we? Right, now we need to find a way to insert that into the data frame, probably using a sign. Let's go to with columns. Okay, got some ha-has in the chat. Cool. Thanks. Glad you appreciated that little burst of silliness. Is this Benny Hill? Yeah, something like that. Now I can't focus on programming anymore. I've just got that in my head. So, df self.native data frame, and then we're going to set df.assign. So new series is going to be extra 0.call df. And now we're going to say But how are we going to do this? So I'm just going to double check that Dask data frame actually has a sign. Dask data frame sign. Yeah, they've got it. Fantastic. Gonna assign s.name. No, that's not gonna work. How do we do this? s.name, s.native series for s in new series, something like this. Then we return. Oh, we need a from native data frame method as well. From native data frame self df, and we're going to return self.class df, and then backend version self.back. Yeah, backend version is going to be preserved. So then self.from native data frame df. And now if we run it, it's got no attribute native data frame. What? Is there a typo somewhere? Yeah, it's definitely got the attribute. Oh, Dask extra df.log. All right then. Guess it's time to get the PDB out again. So python -m pdb t.py. All right, so we're inside the this function alias and df. Oh, df is already a native data frame. Cool, so we don't need to do that. Easy. Alias. Where's the... Where were... This is right, though. Just df.lock. How did we do it for pandas? Can't even remember. So from column names. Yeah, there we definitely had df dot underscore native data frame, so I feel a bit uneasy about changing it here. Let's see what else we're missing. Yeah, let's definitely keep this as it is. Then what? How's next part go? Like that. Right, let's focus. Column names. Where are we running into issues? If it's... Let's just keep stepping through this. So... Where even are we? What's even going on? Who's right about anything? Oh. So, where does... I think I might need to get out my VS Code for some more serious debugging here. I think the namespace might be where we need to look from column names. So here we've got... Yeah, but this is pretty much what we had in the pandas version too. Can't be this. All right. Well, you know what this calls for? df. Yeah, why is this an actual Dask data frame? Ah, it's because I passed it that. Why did I do that? It was all my fault. Okay, Narwhals, Dask data frame with columns. Then, instead of df, let's just pass itself. Now, oh, it didn't error? What? Okay, let's print this. Wait, what? What? Yes! Okay, we've got a first thing kinda working, kinda. But I'm not satisfied because I can't remember the B section of the Benny Hill theme. So let's figure that out a second. Um, that's it. That's it. All right, did it. Um, when you expect an error and it doesn't happen, scary as fuck. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay, so we did the truly groundbreaking feat of introducing an extra column. So time for another little break, and then we can try to figure some extra stuff out. To be honest, what I'm still not totally sure about how it's going to work is select. So that's one thing. The other thing is to use a super secret method from Dask, which one of the Dask maintainers told me about, which, well, they told me they wouldn't break it if we're using it. But we're going to have to test against the Dask nightly to make sure that they honor this promise. Anyway, going to take a short little break, and then we'll be back with a super secret, magic, life-changing pro method from Dask. And yeah, let's see where this takes us. My plan is to go on for an extra hour, so to do 2 hours in total. Yeah, thanks for your participation. This has been fun. Right. Hello, everybody. Let's get back to work. Now, I started this stream by saying that I think it would be a success if we could get a sum of a and a number working, and then assign that to an output. So I then simplified it slightly to get us started, but it would be good to go back and try to get that one working. Hey, Ekmal! Good to see you here in the chat. So sad missed the live stream at the start. Excited to be here rather than missing out. Yeah, cool. Good to have you. Good to have all of you. Nice to have all of your awesome and friendly inputs. It's quite fun. All right, so let's go back to my little silly t.py file. Oops, what have I done? Here we are. And what we're going to do now is let's see, okay, if we just add 1 and then alias that to see, is this still going to work? So it's not going to work now because we haven't implemented dunder add. But that's what we'll do. Well, that's what we'll do now. Let's implement dunder add for Dask Expra. So to do that, we're going to go in here. We're going to go Narwhals, Dask, Expra. Yeah. I feel like I should watch some live streamers to figure out what they do. How do they engage people? I don't know. Learn some tricks of the trade. I have some recollection that for the pandas implementation, I actually didn't use from call here in alias. And that's because we don't want to increase the depth on this one. Right, let's just do that here then. Then sulfur call is going to be func, but then depth isn't going to increase. And we had a way of doing this there. Let's not worry about the function name. Let's just leave it to do. Lol. Figure out the other params later. We need to get on with add self other. Now the thing with other is that it could either be a scalar or it could be another Dask expression. Now if it's a scalar, then things are easy. If it's a Dask expression, then this is where we're going to use a super secret method, which one of the Dask maintainers showed me, which I'm going to reveal to you here today, live on air. You saw it first. Magdalena, what is depth about, like depth of the expression? Yes, exactly. I'll give you a quick demo of that in the pandas case. Well, let's see if we can. Do I really not have IPython installed? So I'm going to do import narwhals as nw, import pandas as pd, import narwhals.pandas-like.x. What am I even importing? Namespace, probably, as pandas namespace. Yeah, pn, that'll do. If I do pn.call a, oh, sorry, from the pandas namespace, I need to make a pandas like x. I thought we had call. Pandas like namespace, yeah, but then let's just make a pandas data frame. So then we're going to do from native df, and then let's call narwhals namespace. And this gives us a pandas-like namespace. So pn equals. Now if I do pn.call, okay, so this shows you what we've made here inside narwhals. So this is a pandas namespace. And if you call call, it gives you this pandas-like extra. So originally the depth is 0, as in it's just like select a column starting from a data frame. If you do anything fancy on it, like add 1, the depth increases by 1. If you then apply something else to it, like absolute value, then depth increases to 2, and here function name just records the different things that we're doing. We can also add different ones together, and then it starts getting a bit confusing. So root names A and B, so these are the two input ones. Output names is just A. Yeah, because follows the left-hand side rule. So if you sum two expressions together, then the one on the left, that name will be the name that the output takes. So this is what we're doing here in Narwhals as well. Right from the chat, sick completions. Cheers. Akmal, super interesting seeing how you're using IPython as testing env. I tend to create a separate Py file, but this looks so much simpler. I don't know. I think it's interesting to also see from the feedback that people seem quite interested in how I'm using debugging and IPython and things. So, well, maybe there's value in just showing your setup and how you debug things. I guess we've all just figured out our own idiosyncratic ways of debugging things. So Magdalena, gee, that's quite a revelation to me. I'm not sure entirely which part you're referring to. I'm curious to see which part was a revelation. There's quite a lag between when I say something and when something appears in the chat. So it's a bit hard for me to remember what exactly I said 10 seconds ago. Bruno, is this recording operations like an AST? It's well, the way it works is just each one. Oh, the depth is a revelation. Ah, cool. Cheers, thanks. Yeah, we should probably expand on this in the how it works document. So yeah, Bruno, the way it works is literally just how we're doing here. So from call, it'll just increase depth by 1. We just append something to the function name. We just record the root names and the output name. It's a bit more involved for the pandas backend, and I'm sure we can reuse something here. The reason I'm starting with something different is because somebody opened the draft PR for adding Dask support, and there was just so many not implemented that we had to put that, yeah, I really think it might be simpler to just start from a clean slate and just try to make a separate folder. Think. The other thing is that Dask series, they behave a bit differently to what we might be used to in pandas. Like a Dask series doesn't return a scalar. It returns another Dask series. Right? Right, let's fact check ourselves here. So dd.from pandas df. If we select A, then this should give us a Dask series. And if we then call mean, for example, you see it gives us another Dask expression. Here it's an expr.scalar. So yeah, whereas in the other pandas-like ones, a series reduction would return a Python scalar. And then we construct a series starting from that scalar. But here in Dask, not really sure how we would do this. Does Dask have concat, by the way? dd.concat, yeah. If we assign that to a variable, like let's say a mean, does it work to do like concat mean, and then dot compute. Oh, this literally gives us a scalar. I'm not sure I wanted that. How do I create a Dask series from a scalar? Anyone know? Right, Dask series from scalar. Right, I might have to message my Dask maintainer friend later to see if there's a way to do this. Magdalena, is compute like collecting polars? Yeah, kinda. I think the difference that I know is that in Dask, if you do Dask dataframe.collect, you go into pandas land. Like you just go completely from Dask into a different library. Whereas in polars.collect will give you back a polars data frame. So polars has both a lazy and an eager version. Whereas, as far as I understand, with Dask it's all lazy up until you do compute, at which point you either get a scalar, a Python scalar like we did here, or you get a pandas data frame. Right, so we need to figure out how to do that. But even without it, at least getting what we've started working would already be a nice step in the right direction. So let's see how we can do add. So we're gonna have to define some extract native function. So let's do that here. So def extract native and object. So if is instance object. So the other thing could be a Dask extra, and that's it. Because we're not going to expose series to the user for Dask. Yeah, so if it's a Dask extra, then we're going to return object.call, and otherwise we just pass the object through. Return object. Okay. So other is going to be extract native other. And then we're going to say result is going to be, you can probably just do it in a single line. So self.from call really going to have to define some helper function here. So it's going to be lambda df. And then we're going to say, well, let's just write it explicitly first, and then we'll generalize later. Yeah, the input's going to be self-called, yeah, and then for each one of these, we're going to say result is going to be input, add, other. And then we append all of them, and we return all of these results. This looks right. Yeah. Cool. Now, if we run this, Dask series has no attribute add. We still need to duplicate this on the series side. Slightly annoying, but also, do we really need this Dask series? I certainly think we don't. Where do we even introduce this one? Yeah, we probably don't need this. We can probably just return this directly and handle all version incompatibilities in here. Yeah, liking the sound of this. Let's keep this simple. All right. Yeah, liking the sound of this. Cool. Then alias is just going to be rename. Yeah. And okay, let's see what happens. Series has, okay, now we don't need to use native series. Where are we using native series anyway? In the data frame function. So Narwhals, Dask, data frame. So with columns, native series, yeah, we don't need that. All right, look at that. Yeah. What if, does it work to override column A? Actually, before we go any further, git add narwhals git commit live stream. And let's also do -n to ignore all of the pre-commits. Hey, lots of tada emojis in the chat. Cool, thanks Magdalena. And anyone else who was submitting those. I can't see who's pasting them. Dancer emoji from Akmal. Nice one. Yeah, I feel like we need the what's that? The celebratory tune. The okay. Yay! Lots of dancing emojis. So live stream magic, and let's also just push U origin head, just in case we lose this. Phew, okay, but I want to test out another couple of things. Is this my t.file? Yeah. So if we were to pass two, well, what if we don't alias? Is this now going to override column A? This is what I'd expect, but let's check. Yes, okay, this overrid column A. Does it work to add one to both of them? Let's see. No, because of that assertion I added earlier, which I shouldn't have added. Okay, let's go ahead and remove it then. Where were we? Novels, Dask, Express. There's some assert in here I didn't want. Ah, yeah, we don't need that assert here. Ooh, look at that. They both got incremented by 1. So we can even use multi-input expressions. Nice. Okay, what's going on here in the chat? Put a dancing GIF on the break screen and call it a breakdance. Yes, I should do that. Breakdance, yeah. Where were we? Yeah, enough of this. So the next thing we really need to do is figure out how we can sum two columns together. So I said I would show some Dask super secret magic. So this is when we do that. We're going to sum column A and column B together, which right now I would expect to not work. Okay, unsupported types for plus, int, and function. Kind of makes sense. So well, so what? Oh, I think this extract native might be in the wrong place. You probably want it here. Other is oh, okay. Extract native other. Let's put it there. Let's see what happens. The hell with it. Int and function, yeah. Because what am I doing? This is just not making any sense. I don't even know what I'm doing on anymore. Underwater unicorn magic and Dask magic. Yeah, exactly. When you mix two magics together, this is what happens. Right. Breakpoint. The only way I know to debug things. So now underscore input, this should be a Dask. This is a Dask series even. And other is a Dask extra. Oh, we need to evaluate other. So instead of extract native, we should probably call this evaluate other. What did I call it in the other one? Maybe evaluate. Because we don't know for certain that it's an expression. But if it is, we need to evaluate it. So we're going to pass two arguments. One is the data frame, and the other one is the expression. So if it's a Dask expression, we're going to evaluate it. Otherwise, we just pass it through. And we're also going to have to pass the right arguments to it now. And now let's see what happens. Could not be broadcast together with shapes 0 and 1, 3. Try it again and actually stop at the breakpoint. So input is just this series, and then other is this Dask extra, and maybe evaluate df other gives us this other series. Yeah. Can we sum them together? Would not be broadcast. Can we... Does Dask give us a way to compute a series? Yeah, okay, this looks like what I was expecting. And the other one... Ooh, because it's a list of things. So I think, yeah, crazy stuff. How does Polars do this? What happens in Polars if you try to sum together two multi-output functions? For now, let's just raise if there's more than one. Results equals, and then assert len results equals 1, and then return results 0. Maybe evaluate made me chuckle in the code. Magdalena says, yeah, cool, that's my objective with Narwhals. It's just to provide entertainment. If it has the side effect of being useful to the data science community, then sure, that's great, but the primary objective is to provide entertainment. All right, let's see now what happens. Not remove the breakpoint just yet because I'm not too confident in this. Keywords must be strings. So input and maybe evaluate df other. Yeah. And then what's the name of this? None. It loses the name. That's wild. Totally wild. Okay, in the chat, Francesco Naya, it's to provide addiction to the other devs. Yeah, that too. If Magdalena, we can call it a success, then yeah. Pretty wild. It's getting a little bit out of hand. Um, yeah, it's good to see you have become so addicted, Francesco. No, it's just amazing. Like every day, just waking up and it's like, got all these really high quality pull requests to review. Like it's amazing. Dopamine from fresh novels. Yeah, we're gonna change the world with this. But first, we need to figure out how to preserve the name of the left-hand side here in Dask. All of this bromance in the chat. So result rename input.name. This should do the trick. And then to do use dark magic. Okay, I can't remember what we were trying to do in the first place. Oh yeah, we were summing together columns A and B. So we need to get 5, 7, 9. Hey, this worked. Cool, we're getting there. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Yeah, call me maybe. Yeah. Anyway, hits from 10 years ago aside. Where are we? Trumpet, trumpet emoji. Yeah, Dusk dark magic. Cool. So here, this is where we use the dark magic. So other is going to, well, put an underscore in front of it to not confuse it. And then this is where we use the dark magic. So this is Dask extra. So what was it? From Dask extra impute are co-aligned, something like that. Dask extra are co-aligned. I don't remember where this is. Okay, gonna have to get out my Slack messages. How does anyone do this without having connections to Dask maintainers? I don't know. Well, that's probably why it's not been done yet. But that's what we're here for. Except I can't actually find where I'd written this. This looks bad. Wait, where did I write this? I think he sent it to me in a Google Meet, and then I've lost it because Google Meet doesn't save things. Okay, can anyone find are co-aligned in Dask Extra? If anyone can find that, then we'll be able to make progress here. Something like that. Let's Oh, FBI, sorry, I thought you said I. FBI, yeah, probably. Yeah. Has it gone back? All right, have we made it back? Okay, if anyone's still around and is still following along, please do type 1 or something in the chat. We're back. Okay, fantastic. All right, we've done this. Okay, let's try to finish the last 20 minutes and then gonna get on with our days. Cool. Francesco needs to drop. It's really cool. Thanks. Cool. Have a great day, everyone. Back. Some binary code from Magda and one from Akmal. Cool. Let's see if we can power through these last few minutes. Let's see if we can use this secret method. So the method is called co-aligned. And this tells us if the index is the same, as far as I understand. And it's a very cheap check. But we're not going to do any automated index realignment here in Narwhals, so we want to check that anything we're doing is safe. I think it should be, but this extra method will give us an extra layer of comfort. And if we try to use it, we can't import it. What? I've been lied to. So, when I cloned Dask Extra, I'm pretty sure that that was what it was called. So, let's see. Put Dask Extra. How does it take so long to import? Oh, is it underscore extra? Ah, here it is. Okay. So okay, this is wonderful. So I'd lost the message in which the Dask dev had sent me this, but IPython history and auto-completion saved us. We've got it. Okay, so we need it's Dask extra dot underscore extra. Okay, so we're using even a private method. Truly illegal stuff. But he said it would remain pretty much stable, and if it's not, then he'll give us a warning in advance about what to use instead. So we should be good. Then we need to access the underscore extra for each one. Now let's see what happens. Wrap extra up, missing one required positional argument. Other. What? Oh, and yeah, we can put other in here. Yes, it works. Okay, we did it. Nice. Git grep. Yeah, git grep is really cool. It's if you want to search for something that's inside a folder, but you want to limit your search to files that are tracked by Git. If you just do a regular grep, then you might be finding anything that's in your virtual environment, anything in other build files, in your temporary files, in your notes, whatever. But if you do git grep, it'll only be in any file known to Git. So it's a lot more robust in that respect. It shows you a lot less noise. Cool, we're getting there. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to accomplish today. We've got the basics of supporting Dask working, and we can take it from here. We're going to have to make some utility functions because we can't be re-implementing this for every single function. And Yeah, there's some things I'd like to check. So what happens if we try to add a scalar? So for example, what if we add the mean of column B to column A? Now what? Dask extra has no attribute mean. What? Oh, yeah, makes sense. We've not implemented it yet. Let's just try that. Curious to see what happens. Def mean self, and we're gonna let's just reuse a lot of what's here. We'll make the helper functions later. For inputting inputs, uh, result is going to be input.mean. Yeah, that's all I really want to do. Now what? Hey, this seems to work. Wow. So, okay, so broadcasting just works for free with Dask. We don't have to do anything fancy. And the Arco aligned just works the way I was hoping it would. Oh, this is wonderful. Now, what I think we're probably going to struggle to do with Dask is to make a single. Yeah, we're going to struggle to use select in a context where it changes the number of rows. And maybe we should just not care. Maybe we can just ignore that for now. Because in the end, if you just want to make a scalar reduction, you could just make a column which is constant, and then you group by that constant, and then you call .mean or something. Like it should work. Okay, wonderful stuff. So we don't have too long left. 10 minutes left or so. So let's commit what we have, let's push it, and then we'll do something else. So commit getting their muscle emoji. Cool, nice from Magdalena in the chat. Yeah, thank you. Love the chat, love the comments about FBI taking it down. Need to run. Cool, thank you, Akmal. Ciao, a dopo. Yeah, met Akmal in Italy. Spoke lots of Italian to each other, as we do in Italy. Right. So we need to make. We need to figure out how are we going to make something reusable here, because what we really need to just what's the abstraction here? And the abstraction is, well, let's try to write it. So def maybe this can be in the from. Oh, let's just keep a single file. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Dask Extra. Has changed. Load file, yes. Maybe can we do this here in from call? Because then we could just do something like this. We're going to define our function, which given some data frame does some things. And then here, we're going to have args and wargs. So then, args and quags we're going to have to maybe evaluate. So args is going to be maybe evaluate x for x in args, and quags is going to be key maybe evaluate value for key value in quags.items. And let's call these key and value, and like one letter variable names. Okay. Key, maybe evaluate value. Oh, but we need the data. Yeah, we need to put the input data frame in maybe evaluate. Then get rid of this one. For each one, we're going to have to check whether they are co-aligned. Maybe that's something that could go into maybe evaluate. For now I'll comment it out, but can we put are co-aligned into maybe evaluate? In the chat, I definitely need to check what maybe evaluate does instead of just laughing at it. Yeah, maybe we need a better name. It kind of sounds like, yeah, maybe I'm going to evaluate, maybe not. I don't know. It depends if I feel like it or not. So the idea is that what the comparand is, it might be an expression, but it might also just be a scalar. And we can see that in t.py. So here I'm opening Vim inside of the terminal, inside Luna Vim inside of the terminal. This is getting silly. So we've got call A and we're summing call B, but also, like, we don't have to sum another expression. We could also just sum a scalar, like 1. So in that sense, we don't know whether the other value is an expression or if it's a scalar. So what maybe evaluate does is, if the other argument is an expression, then we evaluate the expression. Whereas if it's a scalar, if it's anything else, we just pass it through. So in that sense, it's perfect. I mean, the name. Yeah, the implementation definitely isn't perfect. Oh, well, I'm glad you think the name is perfect. Let's keep it like this then. Yeah, sometimes these names are funny, like the panic exception in polars, like, kind of makes you, I don't know. I've heard people say that it looks a bit funny. Your code is panicking. Right. So then here we're gonna apply the function. So we're gonna apply the function call, and it's gonna take input, then args and quags, and we're gonna rename it to input.name. It looks like Dask doesn't really preserve names, so we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to be careful to not use this in alias, but the others should be fine. The .name namespace is gonna be a bit of a mess, but Francesco contributed that one, so gonna leave it to him. Yeah, like a rebel. Cool. So then here we should be able to just put in func. And okay, the other thing we should probably pass in. So we need a way to get out the root names and the output names and the function name. The function name we can probably just pass in as an argument. Okay, we'll worry about those later. Let's see if we can at least reuse from call in one of these. So in add, let's try to use that. So let's say return self from call lambda input other, and we're just going to do input add other. Maybe this is the moment to check that they're co-aligned. Well, let's just try this. Let's see what happens. Probably going to raise But let's see. Args is not associated with a value. Isn't it? But it's here. It can't just capture it from the outer scope. Oh, it's because it's getting overridden each time. Let's make these with an underscore. Okay, and requires one positional argument. Other. Go back there. Yeah, haven't I put the other? So given two inputs, that should be okay. Input and other. Yeah, should be good. No. Right, I think there's a meme about programmers running something, getting an error, and then just running it exactly the same. So I'm just going to do that. So something here is defeating my expectations. Let's take a look. Set a breakpoint. Args is empty, and wargs is empty. What about just args? Ah, interesting. Oh, we need to pass in other here, right? Yeah. Now series has no attribute native data frame. I kind of wanted to end this stream on a positive, but it doesn't look like. Yeah, it's starting to look unlikely. So, input is a Dask series, sure. Then args is empty, and quargs is empty. Both of these. Cool, thanks Dare for joining. Great stream to go back to later. Have a great evening. Cool, you too. Thanks Dare. Is maybe evaluate? No, that's definitely returning. So, input is this one, then args is empty again. This is wild. What on earth are we forgetting? Right, 2 minutes to end the stream on a positive. Can we manage? Okay, let's insert a breakpoint in a slightly higher place. I don't know. Let's also pass in args and quargs here. Is that what we're missing? No, this should definitely just take a single data frame. Definitely not that. So yes, you can manage. Thank you, Magdalena, for your encouragement, but I'm not feeling too positive. Yeah, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's see if things match my expectation. Args is empty and Quarks is empty. Oh, because this is mean. Oh, because now we've messed things up. Oh, right, because we right now this makes sense. Okay, so let's remove the mean, one thing at a time. And now if we run it, yes. Okay, with just 1 minute to go, we at least got something functioning, so we could end on a positive. I know the feeling, but usually it ends up well. Yeah, we did it. Cool. Right, well, it's 5 o'clock. Time to celebrate by going to do literally anything else. Told ya. Thanks for your encouragement. Gonna be amazing. Yeah, Magdalena and I are doing a sprint on Narwhals, teaching people to contribute. So if you'd like to be part of making history with Narwhals, then please join us at Pi Day to Amsterdam. Remember. Thanks, yeah. Otherwise, I would be stuck in Vim for a long time. Cool. Thanks everyone for joining. This has been a lot of fun. Might make this a weekly thing or something. I don't know. We'll see. Have a good one, everyone.